Descript's organic traffic has been declining for 2 years, but at the same time, their branded search and their visibility in AI assistants like ChatGPT has been steadily climbing. So what's happening here? How are they earning AI visibility? My name is Matt Kenyon, and I help B2B businesses grow smarter through SEO and AI visibility. And today, we're going to reverse engineer Descript's AI visibility success and break down how you can apply the same principles to your brand. Descript is a video editing tool with roughly 200 employees, competing against massive companies like Adobe and CapCut. Now, the biggest players in any market have massive authority, that's no surprise. That typically gives them high organic visibility and increasingly strong AI visibility too. But there are still opportunities to carve out your own slice of the market if you're willing to niche down. And that is exactly what Descript did. Now, a lot of positioning advice says to niche down by demographic. You've probably heard this a million times. Target B2B marketers aged 25 to 40, or enterprise teams with 50 plus seats. Descript didn't target a demographic, at least not primarily. They targeted a task: podcast editing. And you can actually trace this in their own words. In 2019, Descript's homepage said, "It's how you make a podcast." 6 words, no mention of video. That was the entire pitch. By 2021, they did add video editing, but podcast was still listed first in their navigation. By 2023, video overtook podcasting in the nav order, and today, their homepage leads with AI editing for every kind of video. But here's what I want you to take away from this. They entered the market through podcast editing. They built a reputation there and then expanded outward, and that is the repeatable playbook. And the data backs it up. I mean, you ask ChatGPT, best podcast editing software, and Descript routinely shows up near the top, and that's not an accident. It's the result of years of consistent positioning around a single use case. And now they're making the same play for video. As I said, their homepage is shifted to AI editing for every kind of video, and they're building the same content depth around video that they built around podcasting. Whether or not that association catches up, that's the next chapter of the story. Time will tell. But the playbook that got them to the table, entering through a niche, owning that niche, and then expanding from a position of strength, that's what we can learn from. So, how do you find your version of podcast editing? Well, let's pretend we're Descript back in the day. If they asked which customers get the most ROI from our product and from which feature, the answer was podcasters, using the transcript-based editor to cut episodes faster. If they asked who's recommending us unprompted on Reddit and review sites, same people. Now, what do these customers have in common? It's not a demographic. It's a workflow, and that was their niche. So run through each of those questions with your own brand. Which customers get the most ROI from our product and from which feature? Who's recommending us on Reddit or any review site? And what benefits or features keep surfacing as key differentiators? And of course, Descript wouldn't have been thinking about AI search when they made these decisions, since AI search didn't exist in 2019. They were just doing good marketing, which is the foundation for boosting your own AI visibility. Of course, identifying your niche is only half the battle. Once you've identified your use case, you need to make sure AI can't miss it. So here are 3 steps to follow to make sure that happens. The first is to audit your messaging. Check your homepage, your product pages, your about page, and your top blog posts. If someone skinned them for 5 seconds, would they know exactly what you're known for? Today, Descript's homepage leads with AI editing for every kind of video. They can afford to go broad now because they already locked in the podcast editing association. That's the payoff of entering through a niche first. Now, we can clearly see their original podcasting emphasis continues in their navigation menu, which includes a dedicated podcasting section. Now, their podcasting page doesn't mention demographics or company size. It simply says record, transcribe, edit, make clips, and publish. Every word describes the job, the workflow. Now do the same audit on your external profiles, your G2 listing, your social bios, your review site descriptions. AI pulls from all of these, so you want the same language and same positioning everywhere. If your homepage says one thing, but your G2 profile says something else, you're diluting the signal. Next, build content around that use case. Descript didn't just put up a landing page and call it done. They built an entire content ecosystem around podcast editing, blog posts comparing editing workflows, help center articles on removing filler words from recordings, tutorials on publishing directly to Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Each piece reinforces the same association. And when a large language model encounters that consistency across 10 different pages, the signal compounds. Build content clusters that answer every question your niche audience is asking, from beginner tutorials to advanced workflows to direct comparisons with competitors. And finally, earn third-party mentions. So your own content only goes so far. A lot of what a large language model knows about a brand comes from content that lives off of that brand's domain. Reviews, editorial roundups, forum discussions. So how do you get there? Well, you start with the creators and users who already love your product and build ongoing relationships with them. Descript brought creators like iJustine and Jack Conti on as actual investors. Now, that's not realistic for everyone, but the principle is the same. You find the advocates, the people who genuinely use your product, and you give them reasons to keep talking about it. Even a simple affiliate program or customer loyalty program creates that incentive. Then go after the best of and comparison lists where your competitors show up, but you don't. Once you've found the gaps, reach out to those editors directly with a review unit or a demo. And just create content worth mentioning. The third-party coverage doesn't have to come from pitching. It comes from publishing something other people need to reference. For example, Descript's Film Credits Order, the complete guide, ranks on page 1 for 90 keywords. It drives thousands of monthly visits and has earned backlinks from over 180 referring domains. Not because it's about Descript, but because it's the definitive resource on a topic that their audience cares about. When your content becomes someone else's source, every mention reinforces your brand in the training data. Now, open ChatGPT, Perplexity, or Google AI mode and ask which brands are known for, and then fill in your niche. Or type best followed by your product category for a particular use case. If your brand isn't in the answer, that's your signal. The messaging isn't consistent enough yet, or the third-party coverage just isn't there. Your niche is your entry point, not your ceiling. See, Descript started as a podcast editing tool. They built an AI visibility foothold that most brands would kill for, and now they're expanding into video from a position of strength. But that original niche is what got them in the door. And if you're already doing the basics, clear positioning, consistent messaging, content that says the same thing everywhere, you might be a lot closer to this kind of AI visibility than you think. If you want the full playbook, we broke down every step in our Descript case study. The link's in the description. Make sure to give this video a like and subscribe to the Backlinko channel. And if you want to keep learning on YouTube, YouTube thinks you'll like this video next. Thanks for watching and happy ranking.